You driving?
Some Plan Bs are smarter than others. If you're drinking, don't drive. RBT means you need a Plan B. Authorised by New South Wales Government, Sydney.
Just another weather question to start. See how frustrating it is for everybody, again, forced indoors. I know you have to deal with it, but how frustrating is it?
Well, obviously as a bowler it's not ideal because you'd like to be outside bowling more frequently. I think I've had 2 outdoor bowls in the last week or so. I haven't. It would be ideal to bowl outside, but we make the best of what we can indoors. You know, do your drill stuff, get your batting done, and then try and make yourself as prepared as you can for tomorrow. So, in an ideal world, we'd have practiced outside, but not everything's ideal.
Does it get to you in the squad a bit? I mean, after Hobart as well, and the frustration of missing out on meaningful practice, or do you have to keep mentally strong about it? Really?
Yeah, I mean, again, we're well versed in dealing with the weather. We've come in from England, so it's not the end of the world. We've got some good practice done over the last few days. We've got some good practice done when the weather permitted in Hobart. We're not too downhearted about it, and I'm sure these 4 days of the game, if the weather's nice, we'll be able to get out there and set our standards high.
Had a bowl in Perth, missed out on the game in Hobart. How do you sort of sum up your own challenge, your own position as you try and force your way into the best side?
Well, obviously I need to, if I play this game, I need to try and give as good an account of myself as I can, so that I can try and put myself in contention for the first Test match. So Perth wasn't ideal for me. I didn't bowl particularly well, but I felt as though I got better as the game went on. I've had some good nets since then. I've put some good practice in the nets. It's just about transferring that out into the middle.
Is it always the proof of the pudding, always how you do out in the middle? I mean, you talked about making do with practice, but that's where you really gauge how well you're doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's no good being a net bowler that gets everyone out in the nets and then can't get a wicket in the game. So it's obviously it's not about using it all up in the nets. You want it all to happen out in the middle. And ideally the middle is a culmination of the work that you put in the nets.
Just finally for me, just on Jonny Bairstow, sort of playing this game with Matt Singleton. I know you're a bowler, but just as a cricket challenge, is that a big ask for him suddenly coming in and he might have to play in the Test match? I mean, as a player, do you think that's sort of, he's got his work cut out over the next 10 days or so?
I wouldn't say he's got his work cut out, no. I mean, obviously we're still very hopeful that Matt will be fit for the first Test match. But if he's not, Johnny's got a great opportunity in this game to put his hand up. He's on this tour as the reserve wicket-keeper for a reason, because he's very good at it. We saw him batting at number 6, and he showed glimpses in the summer of being an excellent Test match batsman. So we know that he's a highly skilled performer, and these 4 days are going to be a great opportunity for him to show that he is very good backup for Matt Pryor.
Stephen, how would you gauge your improvement in Perth towards the end, and how close do you think you are to where you need to be?
Well, yeah, going at 5 and over still in the second innings wasn't ideal, but actually in terms of what I felt like and what I felt like when I was running up and letting go of the ball and the pace it was coming out, I was much happier with. So I felt as I improved considerably throughout the game, again, it's all about trying to put in performances out on the pitch. So that wasn't ideal for me, but I've put that under the carpet now. I've moved on. I've learnt from that, hopefully, and if I get the opportunity in this game, hopefully I can put that right.
How much further do you think still to go? How far off were you?
Well, I mean, obviously you're always looking to improve. I'm always looking to improve, even if I feel like they're coming out great. I'm always looking to get better and find ways to get better. So I'm still a little bit of a way off, and as Tim said, there's the proof in the pudding will be performances in the middle. So if I come through this game, if I play with some wickets under my belt and some good overs under my belt, then I'll be happy.
Steve, in the last year or so, you've tinkered a little bit in longer runs, shorter runs, trying to avoid the stumps, that sort of thing. Are you now sort of confident in your own mind how you want to bowl? Yeah, I'm happy and content with where I'm going. Yeah, I was probably a bit confused about 9 months ago, say, after halfway through the New Zealand tour, as to what I was doing, but I've got real clarity in what I wanted to do. And I thought at the end of the season, in the one-day games and in the county games that I play, I actually bowled as well as I bowled. So
yeah, you know, I'm looking to get back to where I was at the end of the season, and hopefully beyond that. But I'm very settled in what I want to do and the way I want to go about it.
And that is what is it? Obviously, take wickets, but I mean, more of a shock bowler prepared with deep runs and press the wickets. Or
no, I don't think that doesn't fit in with our mantra of what we do as a side. So obviously, if I can take wickets, then that's ideal. But there's a process of which you work towards taking wickets. So yeah, I'd rather not go at 5 and over. The plan's to go under 3 and over and try and build pressure and get wickets that way.
Have you resolved the run-out dilemma, Steve?
I think so. I mean, I haven't kneed the stumps for quite a while. I can't remember it happening. It only happened a couple of times during the summer, so that's out of my repertoire now. So we don't need to. Well, I don't need to talk about that again. Hopefully, and yeah, you know, I'm content with the way that I'm going through the crease. There's not too much of a jump in. I've got good momentum getting to the crease. It's just about letting the ball go now.
And long, short, in between.
It's back to as it was for a vast majority of last summer, back to 23 metres 75 centimetres.
I'm intrigued. Why did you sort of fiddle about with it?
Why did I fiddle about with it? Well, there were issues I had to address. I couldn't keep kneeing the stump, and a means to not kneeing the stump at the time was making the run up shorter. But that didn't. Well, you know, it worked short term, but long term, I didn't feel as though it was going to work for me. So I went back to.
And you're happy with the long run?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Still working, Stephen, on Mitchell Johnson. He had quite a good one day series, and then in India, he was bowled very well in India. He's hitting the ground hard. What have you seen of him over the last month or so?
Well, I saw a few of the games in India, and yeah, they look as though they're coming out nicely for him. I mean, I've not got too much more to say. I mean, if he plays in the first Test match, then you know we don't know. I think this Australian squad gets picked today, so I'm sure we'll have more of an idea once that squad gets picked.
What about his comments about looking at particular England batsmen, Jonathan Trott's on his radar for some short stuff? Would you guys be reciprocating?
I don't know. I mean, you obviously bowl at each individual batsman as you see their weaknesses. I tend to get bombarded when I bat anyway, so I'll be used to it. I'll be prepared for that. But yeah, you know, it's each to their own how you go about getting each batsman out, and if that's his method, then fair enough.
So no Australian batsman that you've identified that you'll be looking to attack?
No, not at the moment. I haven't looked that far ahead, to be honest. You know, the first test is still 10 days or more away. So yeah, you know, I haven't looked that far ahead yet.
Last couple.
How disappointed would you be not to make this Test side? Because you haven't nailed it at Test place, have you? Or where you've been in the squad for 3 years now? Yeah,
I've been around a little while now. But yeah, obviously in an ideal world, I'd have cemented that spot by now, but it's not happened. But I feel as I'm working towards that, obviously, trying to get back into that team. So obviously I'll be disappointed if I don't play. But you know, we've got some other really good bowlers in the team as well, which is good competition for us to have. It spurs us all to push each other on, and hopefully that'll be good for English cricket. In an ideal world, I'd cement that spot. But I think that if I get an opportunity to bowl a lot in this game, then I have to put down a marker in this game for me to get selected for that first test.
Last one, Tim.
Steve, do you think Australia will be more of a batting force here than they were in England? I mean, their top six are getting some good runs in the domestic game. Do you feel in their own backyard that they are going to be more of a handful here?
Look, I mean, Australia actually played some good cricket in the summer, and they put us under pressure, but we dealt with that pressure really well. They're obviously going to be used to these conditions. They're going to be familiar with the conditions. Australia is a very hard place to tour. Last time we were here, an England team hadn't won here for 24 years, so we know the task that's ahead of us. But if we deal with the pressure well, as we did in the summer, and we play our best cricket, then I see no reason why we shouldn't win.